got a testimony. Ow! That just tickles me every time I hear it. little crazy little, little something I came up with. But anyway, I gotta tell it. I did it because I gotta tell you about the way God has moved so amazingly with this whole project. So I'm going to come to you and I'm going to tell you some little stories and things that happen. And I hope that it inspires you, because anytime you have a passion in your heart and you're taking on something big, there are going to be times when you have meltdown. There's going to be times when things don't actually go right. And I had a lot of those. But God will come through every time, and in such an amazing way. And I have learned throughout my life to give it to God. When I got to a point where I can't do anything with it, I gave it to God. And boy, I'm telling you, so I got a story to tell. I got a lot of stories to tell, but I'm going to start in the middle and then come back and go back to the beginning. But I got to start in the middle. So I have 24 songs in the show, and the choreography is very complex, right? So we didn't get a chance to get to every single song as far as the choreography. And I have two teams of dancers. I had one team early on, and then, with COVID, everyone just got dispersed, and we weren't able to resume for various reasons. And I'll tell you about that in another cast. I'll do that one in another one. So hold tight for that one. But I had one group in the beginning, and then God blessed me with another group, which that story is amazing too. But anyway, so I have this other group of dancers. So I was thinking, okay, well, if I don't get to certain songs then that I wanted to perform for the Janet tribute, I maybe would go back and see if my former dancers were interested. And it's been almost 3 years since I've talked to a lot of them. I keep in touch with the choreographer, but not so much the dancers, because everybody, went in their own direction. No animosity or anything. It's just that life happened. One of them had to work, another one had a health issue, another one had a issue with their mom. So it was just things like that. It just happened that way. And trust me, I had meltdown, but yet again, God came through. So anyway, I digress. I'll tell you about that story later. So I decided that maybe I could get in touch with some of my former dancers who already knew the choreography, and ask them to do some of the songs that we weren't able to get to. And that would be easy, right? Because they already know it. So I was having such a hard time reaching them. So I reached out to my former choreographer, and she was down. But, it can't just be me and her. And my current dancers didn't have time to really learn the choreography, because we're running out of time. We got to lock everything in right now for y'all. So I just thought, man, these songs are so great. I hate to cut anything, but it just is what it is. And you have to make a decision. So my choreographer was down and to do it, and we needed one more person. And I just gave it to God. I just said, God, if you want this to happen, then, you'll make something happen to let me know whether I need to pursue that option or not. So last Tuesday, I was in my rehearsal, right? I just said that to God. I just gave it to God and said, listen, whatever you do, I will be obedient. If it's supposed to happen, I know you can make anything happen. I know you got a lot going on, because there's a lot going on in the world. What I'm asking for is just a little small thing, but God is bigger. He's bigger than everything. He can do everything. There's nothing too small for him. So ask and you shall receive. So I wait to hear from him. So I go to the rehearsal. I'm in my rehearsal on Tuesday, and we're rehearsing, and I see somebody looking through the door. And as we're rehearsing at the studio, a lot of people come up to the door, and they're looking, because they're trying to figure out what are we doing. They hear the music, and the music is killing. They want to know what we're doing, and we're in there rehearsing. So I see this guy looking through the door, and I couldn't really make out who it was because he had glasses on, his hair was different or whatever. And then he comes into the rehearsal. Y'all, he was my former dancer that I had been trying to reach. He walked right into our rehearsal. Do you hear what I'm saying? I gave it to God. And I said, God, if you want to make this work, you will do it. Whatever you say is the way I'm going to go. I go into the rehearsal. I look over. Somebody's looking through the door. And it's him. He walks right in. And my current choreographer, she's like, well, yeah, I told him to stop by. I told him I was doing this big show. And he and I are just looking at each other. And I just literally just want to cry because I could not believe that he walked right in the door. So listen, God, I just want to pop just telling you all that. Listen, listen, listen. I hope I inspire somebody. I hope that if you have a passion and you're working on something, there are going to be obstacles, but hang in there. Hang in there, stay with it. When you get to a point where you can't do anything with it, give it to God. And I'm telling you, He will give you an answer. And I hope that inspires someone. So I'll be back with more stories. Take care. I got a testimony.